oh, she was referred. She'd be a great fit. She needs this. Like, because if she just keeps going on her own, making decisions according to her current beliefs and her current assumptions, like things are not probably going to get better. They're either going to get a slightly worse or they could get quite a bit worse without support, guidance, community that's progressive. Hello, everyone. It's Kate Stillman with Wellness Pro Academy, formerly Yoga Health Coaching, and I'm here with Ushi. And Ushi, you're in Germany, right? Near Munich?
Yes, I'm in Germany. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you've been coaching with me for a while, and your question is really around leads and commitment, and when people are like a great fit for your program or your club, but they say now it's not the right time. And your niche is women who are from about age 45 through menopause, or through perimenopause, through menopause, postmenopause, or menopause. And what you're finding is that women don't want to recognize their problems, and that's the biggest issue. But the course is working. They love those of you who are in your club. They love the inner wisdom journey. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Kate. Yes, thank you. Yes, this runs really well. There were only 2 people who went out of when they had the 1 year full. They want to stay there.
Everyone wants to stay in the club.
Yes,
great.
They want to stay in the club. But the problem is really now to get new people onto the journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of, what's working, what's not working, give me an update on that. And just in terms of prospects into members.
Yes, what's working, I think a little bit is referrals, but I had some calls in the summer and then they told me, okay, I will think about in August and then we can come together maybe. But now I'm writing them and they don't answer me. But for me, it's not a no, but they are not prepared for a yes.
Yeah.
They are in something. In October, my inner wisdom journey begins, and I have some people, they have not decided yet. And these are my, yes, I want that they describe in my, in the next 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, and what's really too bad is like, if they don't sign up, they're not going to get results. And if they do sign up, they are going to get results. And so what's really standing in their way, that becomes the question to obsess over. So again, what beliefs would need to change for them to become a member? What beliefs and assumptions do they have right now that would need to change for them to become a member? And you can just think of one person in particular who you're like, oh, she was referred. She'd be a great fit. She needs this. Like, because if she just keeps going on her own, making decisions according to her current beliefs and her current assumptions, like things are not probably going to get better. They're either going to get a slightly worse or they could get quite a bit worse without support, guidance, community that's progressive.
Yes, they can't, or it's hard for them to decide because they say, okay, it's autumn. I have so many dates. My calendar is full. I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
It's the time issue. Okay, there's 1 meeting a week. They say it's too much because I have this and this and this.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same in my yoga courses that they love events. Tomorrow I have one where it was full, in 2 days. Yeah. And when it's an event and they know, okay, they have 2 hours, they can relax, but they don't have to work. That's the next issue. Time and to work on themselves And not only to have something nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that I would map this out is I look at, here's the point where that's the point of sale, and on this side they become members, and over on this side they're prospects or leads. We'll say prospects. They're prospecting. Now this is time, so time's going this way, right? And we know that members, we can also look at results, that the results that they could get, and they could get some results just from changing belief. So right now, the way that your prospect is looking at their life is like, here they are, and they're looking out, they're looking forward, and they're saying, I want to be here. And what's their definition of being here? What results do they want that they don't currently have?
They want the result to have better sleep, to be relaxed, to be focused, to have more time, and not to have so many fears. I think fears and stress is a big theme in these times. And yeah.
So it's kind of like, the way I might say it is they want like to be present, available, and with like time freedom.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what they want. And right now, where they're at, and we can go back here, and we can say that like right now, they can't check these boxes.
Yes.
Right? They can't check these boxes. They don't have this. These are all like basically unhappy faces. And then over here, if we just take this, copy what your members are saying who've gotten results, again, this is a time scale, is that they can check these boxes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the problem is like if they were here, if they were already here, let me do it this way. If they were here, the way they would make decisions would be different. They could reverse engineer this decision, but they're not. The way they're making decisions is they're thinking like, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and I'll get there.
Yes.
And that's not true, is it? Because if we actually look historically, where they've been and where they're coming from, this is true, right? The way they're making decisions has led them to here, and they were here. So these things don't just go to happy faces, right? Like it doesn't just happen. There's not a good time, is there?
Yeah.
Is there? Is there ever a perfect time?
It's a really good time. Yeah. They enjoy this time. I think when they are in the club, they are enjoying all. Not all. In the first weeks, they are struggling with perfectionism and want to all make in the right.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're talking about here once they become members.
Yes, when they become members.
So once they become members, it's really different than before they become members.
Yeah.
So before they become members, when are they thinking now's the perfect time? Like how many times have you heard, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time? Compared to how many times have you heard, now is not the right time?
Very often. Yes.
You hear now is not the right time very often, and you hear now's a perfect time rarely.
Yes.
Okay. So what
Never.
does that tell us about, right? This is
Yeah.
interesting. And this is where we need to, if we're getting a time objection, because that's really what we're talking about, is we're talking about a time objection. Now, people come up with time objections usually when something else is going on. Either something else is going on. So there could be one, if we look at one thing that's going on, I'm going to say like the number one thing I do with time objections is I understand that this person does not know how to reverse engineer decisions. That's the first thing I want to help them do is say, oh, well, okay, I'm not unhappy. I have good sleep.
Yeah.
I'm relaxed. I can focus like nobody's business. And I'm also present and available and have time freedom. I can honestly say all those things are very, very true for me. So let me teach you how I make decisions. Because I'm not making decisions like you're making decisions. I'm making decisions saying, I want to be here. So what decision do I need to make today?
Okay.
In order to be there. Have you ever done this with a prospect?
No, but this is a really, really interesting thing. It's, I was in Basel at Alberto Villoldo in the weekend, and there were the shamans, and they told the same, that they are time tracking to be in the future and then tracking it back to the now, to the present. And this
That's it. That's reverse engineering.
Yeah.
So say I want my daughter to graduate with a 4.0 and having played on a bunch of sports teams, and just so that she has, had good coaching and that she made the most out of her academics. She goes to an easy school, et cetera, just to like have her push her potential. Well, there better be things that I'm doing before she gets into high school, right? In order to help her aim for the results that she wants based on the individual that she is. Okay. So people do reverse engineering all the time. Now, the more conscious we can be of like, what does the 45 to 65-year-old woman really need to be thinking about? Because it's actually quite a masculine way to think. Like a lot of women are more in the flow state. So they're just like, oh, there's an event this weekend, my best friend's going, and then we'll have tea after, and they're in a flow state. So it's really easy to commit to that. But the problem is it's not curing their menopause symptoms.
Yeah.
They have sleep issues. They're not relaxed. They're not focused. They're not able to be present and available to what's most important. They feel like they're missing out on life. They don't feel like they own their time. They got to make decisions in a different way. They've got to activate more of a masculine principle, which is like an ability to strategically plan. This is a strategic planning technique.
Okay. Yeah.
So what decision do I need to make today to get to where I want to be a year from now? So if you don't know what their goals are 1 year from now, and you're proposing a club that's going to take a year, then they don't know how to make that decision. So then the questions become, where do you want to be 1 year from now? This is the goals question.
Yeah.
Right? Then the second, right?
Yeah.
So it's like question number 2, I would say, is what is it worth to you? To be there, to get there.
Yeah.
And it's got to be in dollars. This is where we do like cost of inflammation type sessions. It's like, what is it costing them? Like, say someone's drinking too much. It's common. It's like you're in Europe. People are going to drink a couple pints of beer, a couple glasses of wine at night, and they're going to overeat, and they're going to do, right? There's going to be trends with your women that are having these issues. Yeah. Maybe they're staying up too late. Maybe they haven't developed a yoga or meditation practice. I can't imagine my life without having practices. It's like
It's horrible.
inconceivable. But like a lot of people are just going through everybody else's motions and schedule. So what would it be? What is it worth to them? Are they trying to prevent disease? Are they trying to overcome disease? Like what is really going on? And this is a hard question because they're going to want to skirt around this. And what you're looking at here is you're looking for specificity. You're looking for specifics. So if someone's like, I just want to feel better, that's not very specific. If I want to lose weight, that's not very specific. I want to have more time, that's not very specific. So I want to be 20 pounds lighter and lean with like lean muscle and bicep definition. That's fairly specific. We'll both be able to see whether or not you have bicep definition in a year. Right? Or say the goal is to have more time. Well, how about, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, how are you going to measure that? If they're working a 50-hour work week, is it that they're working a 35-hour work week? They have 7 hours a week for self-care, which they can do whatever. They can go for a walk. They can lie on their yoga mat. They can go to yoga class. They can do whatever they want. Lie on the ground, watch the clouds go by. Like get really specific, because it seems to me, Ushi, that in your enrollment conversations, it's not getting anywhere specific and there's not a value.
Yes.
And so if there's not a value and you're not specific, they can't make a decision.
Okay. Yes. Yes. This is, yes.
Okay.
This is right. Okay. This was, I have not done before.
Good. So just follow this until you've automated it. Until you're like, I do this every single time with every single person, even the ones who are like, I just want to be in. I hear your club's great. It's like, no, wait. I need to understand exactly what your goals are a year from now, and exactly the value of those so that we both know what we're aiming for. And they'll thank you for that. Okay, so the time objections, back to this. First thing is reverse engineer.
Yeah.
Right, and that's based on goals and the value of the goal. Goal, value. So we need those two things. And then once you've gone through that, if you're still getting an objection, either they don't trust you or they don't trust themselves.
Yes. Trust is the next thing. Yes.
That's the next thing.
Yeah.
Because if they value the goal more than the price of your program, and they should, if you really get into the details. What's the price of your club?
It's €1,500.
That's dirt cheap. So their goals should be worth at least 10K euro.
Okay.
Because that's what transformation is, premium pricing and highly individuated. It's like your members are getting really good results and that's worth something. And they're usually people are wasting that 1,500 on inflammatory habits anyways. They're wasting it in ways they don't even know. Yeah. And helping them find where they're wasting that money can be really helpful. When you have a goal, you've seen me draw this. When you have a goal, this becomes sacred, which means everything else is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right. So they may have to sacrifice their online shopping, or they may have to sacrifice going out for beer and chips. They may have to sacrifice, right? Like unnecessary spending, because their health is more important. How they feel every single day in their body, how their habits are forming their future is simply more important. So all that becomes a sacrifice so that this can actually be sacred. And so for you to figure out what they're going to need to sacrifice, that's the right. That goes into this. Why? Because this is sacred. And you need to help them get really specific with what is sacred to them. That's the goal. I love feeling really good at 49.
Yeah.
I do. I love waking up and not having joint pain. I love waking up not having extra weight on my body. I like being able to mountain bike up the mountain. I like being, you know, dependable for my child in terms of being happy every day in the morning. You know, like what's sacred? Like really, like what really matters? And I want to be getting smarter in my body because I get that it's like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Like it's not necessarily going to get easier to have a body, be healthy and happy. So help them figure out what's sacred. You're going to kick ass at sales after this. Everyone's going to be in Club Ushi. Okay, so trust. Do they not trust you? Well, here's your member results.
Yeah.
Right? Now, do they not trust themselves? And usually people don't trust themselves because they're not going to show up. Because in the past, they've not shown up for things that were important to them.
Yeah.
And so you're going to need to really talk through that. And then what I often do is give an example of a member who thought they weren't going to show up and who did, and it changed their life. So I usually solve that with a testimonial.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is really helpful to process with them through their issues. One of the ways that I see it, and I know this is a lot, but we're recording, so you're going to be able to go back and watch it. And you probably need to listen to this 5 times before you'll automate it. That's fine. That's why we record. It's not because you're slow. It's because this is hard.
Yeah.
And this is not how people think. And most healers don't think like salespeople. Okay. So this part in here is called onboarding. And it's after point of sale. And it's when they're first a member. And what we're saying is like, well, if you could move some of this before the point of sale and say, over in here, trust in, it's trust in a few things. If you can build their trust in you, trust in themselves, and trust in your club, which includes the members. If you can move that before the point of sale or even before the offer is made for them to get into your club, that's going to help.
Okay. Yes.
Because then you're not dealing with it after the offer's on the table.
Yeah.
You're making sure they have a thorough understanding. So some people will do this in a video. Some people will do this in a podcast interview with their members. Some people will do this just through talking about it one-on-one, you know? About like why you start off with, these are my convictions. Why do you do what you do? And we have a lot in our member hub, right, on convictions. Convictions. These are your beliefs. These are the reasons you have a club.
Oh, this is so fantastic, so amazing. Yes.
Good.
So much in it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Trust in themselves. You can, like, they can start trusting themselves like day one. Like, you're going to help them do that with Kaizen, with small incremental improvements. You're going to help them build trust in themselves because they've lost that. And what could be a better time to start rebuilding trust in themselves than now? Why would you delay that till later? Like, that doesn't go well. People who don't trust themselves, that ends up in addiction, codependency. You can be taken. You can be really influenced by other people because you don't trust yourself, so you're more willing to trust other people. That's just downright dangerous.
Wow.
And then trust in your members. That just goes through you sharing about your members, you sharing, you know, from your, wherever your forum is, you sharing member results. Sorry about that. And so we'll do this with screenshots of testimonies where I'll just share member results. Like, here's Ushi. She's in Germany. She got her group up and running of women over 45, and they love her. They love her for it. And often, I mean, I remember when you and I were talking in Lisbon, like, often the objection they have to overcome is that they're not in control of their money. So they need their partner's buy-in. They need their husband's buy-in.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of this, trust in Ushi and trust in the club, you're going to have to get their, it's not just the time. They might say the time objection,
but
because their partner doesn't trust them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partners may be seeing them waste money.
Okay.
Their partner and them maybe have codependency issues and other kinds of issues.
And I
So
think
their partner might not. Yeah, go ahead.
trust is a really, really important thing today, because all people are in, or many people in such a fight state, and they need trust that they come out of this.
Yeah.
No, that's the right time. I was so like this because the times are so hard, but when they begin to trust, they can break this. They can break this hard thing.
I totally agree. And I think, a lot of their trust issues are what are keeping them in this pattern of like just dealing with the future that's right in front of them. And this is very short term. This is short term decision making. Whereas like this is long term. So you take a longer horizon. You say, what am I going to do this weekend? Like, where do I want to be a year from now?
Yeah.
What do I need to decide today? And therefore, what do I need to do this weekend? Where do I want to be a year from now? How am I going to need to invest differently? And how do I need to then invest differently today to make sure I'm on track with that future? And that's how successful people make decisions. I mean, and when you do that consistently, you can totally be in the flow. And then you can be present and available and experience greater and greater time freedom. You can't experience greater time freedom when you're in the short term. This just leads to being unhappy, frustrated.
Yeah.
All right. You going to crush it out there for your October enrollment?
Wow. Thank you, Kate. This is great. Thank you very much. And and in 10 minutes, my next strategy session comes. And
so you get to practice. Okay. And on last week's coaching session with the members, I really get into referrals and word of mouth. So listen to that.
yeah,
What actions you need to take, because you can probably get quite a few people enrolled between now and your October start date. Urgency is great. Like we're starting, this is where these people are going to get, and this is where we're going to be by Christmas. This is how we're going to be feeling by New Year's. Are you coming or not? So that's
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you the next time I'm in Bavaria.
Yeah. You come see us in Bavaria.
I love Bavaria. Okay, take care. Mwah.
Take care. Mwah. Thank you.